Jaden Carter stood frozen outside the bedroom door of his Manhattan penthouse, his hand hovering over the handle as his fiancée's voice drifted through the crack. "Girl, please. You think I actually love him?" Vanessa laughed, her tone dripping with mockery. "I love his last name. I love that black card. Once we're married, I'm set for life. My acting skills deserve an Oscar." The champagne bottle Jaden had been holding for their engagement celebration slipped from his fingers, shattering across the marble floor. The door swung open, and Vanessa's face went pale. Her phone clattered to the ground. "Jaden, baby, I can explain." "Don't." His voice was eerily calm. "Just don't. You don't understand. I was just joking with my friend. You know how we talk. Pack your things. You have an hour." Jaden turned and walked away, his heart hammering in his chest. 29 years old, heir to a $3 billion empire his grandfather built from nothing during the civil rights era, and he couldn't find one person who loved him for who he was. Not one. His best friend Marcus found him an hour later, sitting in the dark living room, staring at nothing. "Bro, I heard." "I'm sorry." "She's the third one, Marcus. Third woman who only saw dollar signs." Jaden's voice cracked. "My grandfather used to tell me that money reveals character. I just wish it didn't keep revealing the worst in people." Marcus sat beside him. "Then change the game. Stop letting them know who you are." "What do you mean?" "Disappear. Be nobody. See who loves Jaden the line cook instead of Jaden Carter, billionaire heir." The idea took root immediately. That night, Jaden stood in his family's estate in front of his grandfather's portrait. The old man's eyes seemed to follow him, wise and knowing. His mother found him there at midnight. "Baby, what are you doing here so late?" Deborah Carter was still elegant in her silk robe, her locks pulled back. "Mama, I need to do something. Something that might sound crazy." She studied his face, then nodded slowly. "Tell me." "I want to disappear for 6 months. Live like a regular person. Work a regular job. See if I can find something real." Deborah was quiet for a long moment, then she touched his grandfather's portrait. "Your grandfather cleaned toilets in white folks' offices before he saved enough to buy his first property. He always said that money was just a tool, not a measure of a man's worth. He'd understand what you're trying to do." She cupped Jaden's face. "Be careful, baby. The real world is harder than you remember." "I know, Ma. That's exactly why I need to do this." 3 days later, Jaden stood in a tiny apartment in East Point, Atlanta, with nothing but a suitcase of regular clothes and a prepaid phone. No designer labels. No Rolex. No sports car. Just him. He'd rented the place under a fake name, withdrawn enough cash to last 6 months, and told Marcus to handle any business emergencies without contacting him unless the company was literally burning down. The apartment was smaller than his penthouse closet. The walls were thin enough that he could hear his neighbor's television. The AC unit rattled like it had emphysema. But something about it felt freeing. He spent his first weekend learning the neighborhood, riding MARTA, eating at local spots. On Monday morning, he saw a help wanted sign at a restaurant called Soul and Grits. The smell of fried chicken and cornbread drew him inside. An older black woman with silver hair and kind eyes looked up from the register. "Help you, baby." "I saw the sign. I'm looking for work." She sized him up with the expertise of someone who'd been running a restaurant for decades. "You ever worked in a kitchen?" Jaden thought about the Michelin star restaurants he'd eaten at, the celebrity chefs he'd met. Yes ma'am. I need this job. Name. Jaden. Jaden Williams. The fake last name felt strange on his tongue. Ms. Gloria Jackson. I own this place. You can start Monday morning, 6 a.m. Don't be late, and don't make me regret this. She paused. You seem different. Educated. Why you want to work in my kitchen? Just trying to find my way, Ms. Gloria. She nodded slowly. All right then. Welcome to Soul and Grits. His first day was a complete disaster. The headline cook, Simone Williams, was a petite woman with natural hair pulled into a high puff, sharp eyes, and absolutely no patience for incompetence. Who hired you? She snapped as Jaden burned his third batch of mac and cheese. You said you could cook. I'm sorry, I just need to. Sorry, don't feed customers. We got orders backing up. The lunch rush hit like a tsunami. Orders shouted, pans clanging, grease popping. Jaden felt like he was drowning. He'd run board meetings with 50 executives, but he couldn't handle a simple lunch rush. Then he completely froze. An order for 20 plates. His hands wouldn't move. Simone appeared beside him, her hands flying across the prep station. Watch and learn. Mice en place. Everything in its place. You move with purpose, not panic. She plated 5 dishes in the time it took him to process what she'd said. Now do the next 5. Exactly like I showed you. Somehow they got through the rush. Afterward, Ms. Gloria pulled Simone aside. Jaden heard her whisper, maybe I made a mistake hiring him. Give him a chance, Ms. Gloria. Everybody gotta start somewhere. I'll train him. Jaden's pride stung, but he was grateful. After the shift, Simone sat him down at one of the back tables where a little girl was doing homework. This is my daughter, Zara. Baby, say hi to Jaden. Hi, the 7-year-old said shyly, then went back to her math problems. Simone turned to Jaden. Look, I don't know your story, and I don't need to, but if you're gonna work here, you need to understand something. Soul food ain't just food. It's culture. It's history. It's love on a plate. You cook like you scared of the spices. Like you don't trust your hands. Why? Jaden wanted to tell her he'd never actually cooked a day in his life. That he'd had private chefs since he was born. Instead, he said, I want to learn. Really learn. Will you teach me? Something softened in her expression. I'd be here tomorrow, 30 minutes before your shift. We'll start with the basics. Over the next 3 weeks, Jaden learned more than cooking. He learned the rhythm of the kitchen, the unspoken language between cooks, the way Simone could taste a pot of greens and know exactly what it needed. He learned that she worked 2 jobs, this one and weekend catering gigs, saving every penny for her dream of opening her own catering business. Modern soul food fusion, she explained one night after closing, showing him her worn notebook filled with recipes and business plans. Take what our grandmothers taught us and elevate it. Not because it needs elevation, but because our food deserves to be in those fancy restaurants too. I want to build something my daughter can inherit. Real generational wealth. Jaden's heart clenched. Here was someone who understood his grandfather's dream more than anyone in his social circle ever had. That's beautiful, Simone. Really? She looked at him curiously. You talk different sometimes. Proper. Where you really from? Just, trying to find myself, you know. She didn't push, but he could see the questions in her eyes. The following Sunday, Simone invited him to her grandmother's house for dinner. Jayden stepped into a completely different world. The small house was packed with people, aunts, uncles, cousins, kids running everywhere. Music played, dominoes slapped on tables, voices overlapped in joyful chaos. Granny May, a tiny woman with white hair and eyes that saw everything, pulled Jayden aside. "Baby, you running from something? What makes you say that? I'm 83 years old. I know a runner when I see one. Just make sure you running towards something too, not just away." At dinner, Zara sat beside Jayden. "Mama says you're learning to cook. Can you help me with my homework? I don't understand fractions." "Zara, don't bother him," Simone said. "It's no problem." Jayden spent the next hour helping Zara with math, his fancy private school education finally useful for something that mattered. He looked up to find Simone watching them, something tender in her expression. That night, lying in his small apartment, Jayden realized he was falling for her. Not the careful, calculated dating of his old life. Real feelings. The kind that made his chest tight and his thoughts scattered. But he was living a lie, and that knowledge gnawed at him. Things escalated quickly after that. One morning, Ms. Gloria gathered the staff with tears in her eyes. "Y'all like family to me, so I gotta be straight. The bank is threatening foreclosure. Some predatory loan situation I didn't fully understand when I signed. We got 30 days, or Soul and Grits is done." The room erupted. This restaurant was more than a business. It was a community hub, a place where people gathered, where memories were made. Simone stood up. "We'll figure this out. We'll do fundraisers, car washes, bake sales. This place is our heart. We ain't losing it." Everyone rallied. Over the next week, they worked tirelessly. Jayden watched Simone push herself to exhaustion, working triple shifts, organizing events. He wanted to help, really help, but how could he without revealing himself? Late one night, he made a call to Marcus. "I need you to set up an anonymous grant. Make it look like a community development fund. Pay off Soul and Grit's debt completely." "Bro, you sure? What if someone traces it?" "Make sure they can't. Please, Marcus. This place matters." A week later, Ms. Gloria got the call. A mysterious community grant had paid off the entire debt. The restaurant erupted in celebration. Simone hugged everyone, tears streaming down her face. But when she hugged Jayden, she whispered, "This is too convenient. You know something about this?" "Me, I'm just a line cook." Her eyes searched his face. "Right. Just a line cook." The tension between them grew alongside their feelings. They'd started staying after shifts, talking for hours. Simone told him about her ex, who'd left when Zara was 2. Said being a father was too much pressure. "Now I work myself to death so my baby never feels like she's missing anything. She's lucky to have you. Sometimes I wonder if I'm enough, you know, if love is enough when you can't afford the things other kids have." "Love is everything," Jayden said quietly. "Money can't buy what you give her." Simone looked at him strangely. "You sound like someone who knows both sides of that equation." Before he could respond, his phone rang. Marcus. He never called unless it was an emergency. Jayden stepped outside. "There's a problem. The Daniels deal is falling apart." They want to meet with you personally or they're walking. That's $200 million, Jaden. Handle it? I can't. They want the air. They want you. Then let it fall apart. Are you serious right now? Jaden looked back through the window at Simone laughing with Zara, and his heart made the decision before his head could. Yeah, I'm serious. I'll call you later. He hung up and went back inside, not realizing Simone had heard part of the conversation through the open door. $200 million air. Things came to a head the next week when Zara collapsed at school. Severe asthma attack. Simone called Jaden from the emergency room, her voice breaking. They're saying she needs this treatment, but my insurance won't cover it. It's $15,000, Jaden. I don't have that. I don't know what to do. I'm on my way. She's going to be okay. I promise. He sat with Simone in the waiting room, holding her while she cried. That night, he made another call to Marcus. Set up another anonymous donation. Cover all of Zara's medical expenses. Jaden, this is getting risky. Someone's going to connect the dots. I don't care. Do it. 2 days later, the hospital social worker found Simone. Ms. Williams, I have incredible news. An anonymous donor has covered all of Zara's treatment costs. Everything. Simone's relief lasted only a moment before suspicion took over. She looked at Jaden, really looked at him. The expensive watch he'd forgotten to take off one day. The way he carried himself. The education that slipped through in his speech. The mysterious grants and donations. Jaden, we need to talk. Before they could, the restaurant door opened during a slow afternoon. A man in an expensive suit walked in, looked around with barely concealed disgust, then his eyes landed on Jaden. Jaden Carter. Finally. Your mother is losing her mind. What are you doing in this place? The kitchen went silent. Simone dropped the pot she was holding. Jaden Carter, Ms. Gloria whispered. As in Carter Industries, the Carter Billions. The man, one of Jaden's business associates, kept talking. The board wants you back. The Henderson deal needs your signature. We've been looking everywhere. Get out, Jaden said quietly. Excuse me. I said get out. Now. The man looked confused but left. Jaden turned to face everyone. Simone's face was a mask of shock, hurt, and betrayal. Simone, let me explain. Explain what? That you've been lying to me this entire time, that every conversation we had, every moment we shared, was based on a lie. Her voice rose with each word. Were you slumming it? Was this some kind of social experiment? Let me guess, you're gonna write a book about the poor black people you worked with. No, Simone, it wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Jaden? Or is that even your real name? How much of anything you told me was true? My name is real. My feelings are real. Your feelings? She laughed bitterly. You let me pour my heart out about my struggles. About not having enough money for Zara's treatment, about the restaurant closing, about my dreams of building something. And you're worth billions. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? I was trying to find someone who could love me for me, not my money. So you decided to lie, to manipulate everyone around you, to play with people's lives. Tears streamed down her face. I trusted you. I let you into my daughter's life. We don't let people in easily, Jaden. Do you understand what you've done? Ms. Gloria stepped forward. Son, I think you should leave. Jaden looked around at the faces that had become family. All of them looked at him like a stranger. He grabbed his jacket and left, the door closing behind him with a finality that echoed in his chest. For the next 2 weeks, Jayden tried everything. He sent flowers. She sent them back. He tried calling. She blocked his number. He went to the restaurant. Ms. Gloria told him Simone didn't want to see him. Marcus found him in his Atlanta hotel room, unshaven and miserable. "Bro, you look terrible." "I messed up, Marcus. I found exactly what I was looking for, and I destroyed it with lies. So fix it." "You're Jayden Carter. You can fix anything. Not with money. That's the whole point." Marcus sat down. "Then fix it with truth. Real truth. Show her who you really are, not who you pretended to be or who your bank account says you are. Show her your heart." Jayden sat up slowly. An idea was forming, risky and possibly stupid, but it was all he had. 3 days later, Simone was at home with Zara when her doorbell rang. She opened it to find Jayden standing there, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood his mother, Deborah Carter, elegant and dignified. "Ms. Williams, my name is Deborah Carter. May we have a moment of your time?" Simone, too shocked to refuse, let them in. Zara ran to her room, sensing the tension. Deborah sat down, and Jayden remained standing. "Ms. Williams, my son has told me everything. What he did was wrong, and I won't make excuses for him. But I'd like to tell you who Jayden really is, if you'll listen." Simone crossed her arms but nodded. "My father-in-law, Jayden's grandfather, was born in Mississippi in 1935. He picked cotton as a child, lived through Jim Crow, watched his best friend lynched for looking at a white woman wrong. He came north with nothing, worked 3 jobs, saved every penny. He bought his first property in 1960, a rundown building everyone said was worthless. He fixed it himself, rented it out, bought another. Built an empire from nothing but will and work." Deborah's voice was thick with emotion. "He taught Jayden that money was a tool for building community, for lifting people up. But he also warned him that wealth would attract the wrong people. Jayden has watched that happen his entire life. Every relationship, every friendship tainted by people who saw dollar signs instead of a human being. So he lied to me," Simone said quietly. "Yes," Deborah agreed. "He did. But ask yourself why. Not to play with you. Not as an experiment. But because he's desperate to know if anyone could love him for who he is underneath all the privilege." Jayden finally spoke. "Simone, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I need you to know that everything I felt was real. When you taught me to cook, when you talked about your dreams, when I watched you with Zara, I fell in love with you. The real you. And I wanted you to know the real me, but I was terrified that if you knew, everything would change." "It did change," Simone said. "Because you made it change by lying." "I know. And I'm sorry, but I want to make something right, if you'll let me." He pulled out a folder. "This is a business proposal. Not a gift. Not charity. A real partnership. I've been working on something for the past 2 weeks with my mother's company. We want to start an investment fund specifically for Black-owned businesses. Small businesses that banks ignore, entrepreneurs that traditional investors overlook." He handed her the folder. "You'd be our first investment. Not because of me, but because your business plan is solid, your vision is clear, and you deserve the chance my grandfather got. This would be a formal business arrangement with contracts, terms, and you maintaining full creative control." Simone opened the folder, her hands shaking. And there's more, Jaden continued. The restaurant. Ms. Gloria wants to retire in a few years. I proposed that she sell Soul and Grits to you when she's ready. We'd provide the financing, and you'd pay it back through the business. Your modern soul food fusion could start right there, in a place that already has community trust. Why? Simone whispered. Why are you doing this? Because everything you said about generational wealth, about building something for Zara, about our food deserving recognition, was right. And because even if you never speak to me again, I want you to have your dream. You've earned it. Deborah stood. I'll give you two some privacy. Ms. Williams, whatever you decide about my son, that business proposal stands. You have something special, and the world needs to see it. After she left, silence filled the room. Zara peeked out from her bedroom door. Mama, is Mr. Jaden leaving? Baby, go back to your room, Simone said softly. But I like Mr. Jaden. He helps with my homework. He makes you smile. Simone's eyes filled with tears. Jaden knelt down so he was eye level with Zara. Your mama is the strongest, smartest, most amazing woman I've ever met. You know why? Zara shook her head. Because she never gives up on her dreams, and she taught you to be just as strong. No matter what happens, you remember that, okay? Zara nodded and went back to her room. Jaden stood, facing Simone. I don't know if I can trust you again, she said. I know. You hurt me. You made me feel stupid for sharing my struggles with someone who could have solved them with pocket change. I never thought you were stupid. I thought you were incredible. Past tense. No. Present tense. Future tense. Every tense. Simone laughed despite herself, then immediately looked angry that she'd laughed. Don't make me laugh right now. I'm trying to stay mad at you. Stay mad then. Take all the time you need. But know that I'm not going anywhere. I'm moving to Atlanta permanently. I'll work at Soul and Grits if Ms. Gloria will have me back, or I'll find another job. But I'm done hiding. This is where I want to be. These are the people I want to be around, and you, Simone Williams, you're the woman I want to build a life with, if you'll ever give me that chance. You can't just throw money around and expect everything to be okay. I'm not. This business proposal is separate from us. If you never want to see me again romantically, that's your right. But your dream shouldn't suffer because I messed up. Simone looked at the folder again, at the detailed plans, the fair terms, the respect embedded in every clause. This is really legitimate. Completely. Marcus, my best friend and business partner, he helped structure it. Everything is above board. You'd have full control, and we'd have a silent investment stake. Just like any other business deal. And us. That's up to you. I'll wait as long as it takes. I'll prove that I'm serious about being here, about being real. No more lies, Simone. Ever. Even if the truth makes me look bad. She studied his face for a long moment. I need time. Take all the time you need. And you need to make things right with Ms. Gloria and everyone at the restaurant. They feel betrayed too. I know. I will. And Jaden, if we do this, if I even consider trusting you again, you meet my whole family. My grandmother, my cousins, everybody. They get to see who you really are, and they get to decide if you're good enough for us. That's fair. And you have to take Zara to her school's father-daughter dance. You promised her before all this happened, and she's been talking about it non-stop. Jaden's eyes widened. You'd let me do that? I'd let you try to earn back her trust too. But Jaden, if you hurt her, if you disappoint that little girl, I swear. I won't. I promise on everything I have, I won't. Over the next 3 months, Jaden proved himself. He went back to Soul and Grits and apologized to everyone individually. He explained his story, his pain, his mistakes. Some forgave him quickly. Some took longer. Ms. Gloria made him work the worst shifts for a month straight before she even smiled at him again. He went to Sunday dinners at Granny May's house, endured the interrogation of Simone's aunties, played dominoes with her uncles, and learned that family wasn't about blood or money but about showing up consistently. He took Zara to her father-daughter dance. Watching her beam in her dress, introducing him to her friends, something in his heart healed. After the dance, she fell asleep in the car, and when he carried her inside, she mumbled, "Thanks, Daddy Jaden." Simone heard it too. Their eyes met over Zara's sleeping form, and something shifted. The business launched officially in month 4. Simone's catering company, Heritage and Flavor, became an instant success. Her modern soul food fusion caught fire on social media. Food critics came. Lines formed. She hired staff, including 2 people from Soul and Grits Kitchen. Ms. Gloria announced her retirement and, true to the plan, sold the restaurant to Simone. The community celebration was huge, and during her speech, Simone thanked everyone, then looked directly at Jaden. Someone once told me that generational wealth starts with a dream and the courage to pursue it. I'm standing here today because I had that dream, but also because someone believed in it enough to give me a real chance. Not charity. Not pity. But a genuine partnership built on respect. That person taught me that trust, once broken, can be rebuilt if both people are willing to do the work. Jaden Carter, can you come up here? Jaden's heart pounded as he walked to the front. Simone took his hand. 5 months ago, you walked into my life pretending to be someone you weren't. You lied, you hurt me, and you made me question everything. But you also showed me what it means to fight for someone, to do the work, to prove through actions not just words. You met my family, you showed up for my daughter, you've been here every single day proving that you're serious. She turned to face him fully. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying I don't still have moments of doubt. But I'm saying I'm willing to see where this goes. For real this time. No lies. No games. Just us. Jaden's eyes filled with tears. Just us. I promise. And Zara. She comes with the package. I wouldn't want it any other way. The crowd erupted in applause. Granny May shouted, "About time." And everyone laughed. That night, after the celebration died down, Jaden, Simone, and Zara sat on Simone's porch. Zara was between them, chattering about school. Jaden looked at Simone over Zara's head, and she smiled at him, a real smile, full of hope and possibility. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey," he replied. "Thank you for fighting for us. Thank you for giving me the chance." 6 months later, Heritage and Flavor had expanded to 3 locations. Simone was featured in Bon Appetit magazine. The investment fund had backed 12 other black-owned businesses, all thriving. Soul and Grits, now under Simone's management, had become a landmark, a place where community and innovation met. Jaden proposed on a Sunday at Granny May's house, surrounded by Simone's entire family. He got down on one knee in the middle of the living room, dominoes and laughter pausing as everyone turned to watch. Simone Williams, you taught me what real wealth looks like. It's not in a bank account. It's in Sunday dinners and late-night conversations and teaching a little girl fractions. It's in building something meaningful and fighting for the people you love. You and Zara are my real wealth, and I want to spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of that gift. Will you marry me? Simone was crying, laughing, nodding all at once. Yes. Yes, you crazy man. Yes. Zara jumped up and down. Does this mean you're officially my daddy now? Jaden scooped her up. If that's okay with you. Yes. Can I be the flower girl? You can be whatever you want, baby girl. The room erupted in celebration. Granny May pulled Jaden aside later. I told you that you were running. Looks like you found what you were running toward. Yes, ma'am. I really did. 1 year after Jaden walked into Soul and Grits as a fake line cook, he stood at the altar watching Simone walk toward him. Her dress was beautiful, but it was her smile that took his breath away. Zara walked beside her, carrying flowers and beaming with pride. When they said their vows, Jaden added, I promise to always tell you the truth, even when it's hard. I promise to show up every day and do the work. I promise to honor your dreams as much as my own. And I promise to love you and Zara with everything I have, for the rest of my life. Simone's vows included, I promise to trust you even when it's scary. I promise to build this life with you as true partners. And I promise to remind you, every single day, that you're not just a last name or a bank account. You're the man who learned to make collard greens from scratch just to make me smile. You're the man who shows up. And that's the man I'm choosing, today and always. They kissed as husband and wife, and the church exploded with joy. At the reception, held at Heritage and Flavor's flagship location, Jaden's mother gave a toast. My father-in-law used to say that money was just a tool, and what mattered was what you built with it. Today, looking at my son and his beautiful family, at this incredible business Simone has built, at this community that's come together, I see what he meant. This is the real legacy. Love, family, community, and dreams coming true through hard work and partnership. To Jaden and Simone. To Jaden and Simone. Everyone echoed. Late that night, after most guests had left, Jaden found Simone on the balcony, looking out at the Atlanta skyline. Hey, Mrs. Carter, he said softly. She smiled. I'm keeping Williams professionally. But I like how that sounds. Any regrets? About marrying a man who lied to me about being a billionaire, she pretended to think. Nah. I'm good. He laughed and pulled her close. I love you. I love you too. Even when you burn the mac and cheese. That was one time. It was 3 times, baby. But who's counting? They stood together, looking at the city lights, thinking about how far they'd come. From a lie to the truth. From broken trust to rebuilt love. From a secret billionaire working minimum wage to a real partnership built on respect, honesty, and genuine connection. Zara ran out onto the balcony. Mama. Daddy. Granny May is teaching me to play spades. We better go supervise that, Simone laughed. As they walked back inside, hand in hand, with Zara between them, Jaden realized he'd found exactly what he'd been searching for. Not someone who loved him despite his money or because of his money, but someone who loved him for the man he chose to be every single day, and that, he thought, was worth more than all the billions in the world. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible love stories. Drop a comment below telling us what you would do if you discovered someone you loved had been hiding their true identity. Would you forgive them like Simone did? Let us know, and don't forget to share this with someone who believes in second chances and real love.